Good morning, good morning. How you doing, HPQ?
Good morning, good morning. It's Monday indeed. Gosh, it's the 14th of April already. I can't believe. Every time I come on the radio, I would say I can't believe the date. So I don't even know why I'm saying that. That's just usual. Good morning.
Really fast, isn't it?
It is too fast. Good morning, Wolf Michael Pfister. Good morning, DJ Amorous as well. I'm not on SharkyDJ's platform yet, but good morning, Spice Nice. I know Spice Nice is on. Good morning, Delight. I know Delight's on also. And I'm quickly going into good morning, Laurie, Susie Cruz, Flyer, Mel, J. Blige, Jack's Happy. Good morning. And who else is on? Shaneri. Oh, it was wonderful to see you over the weekend. Good to see you on MBE, Davy J. Good morning also. And anybody else? Audrey D. Gosh, there's quite a few people on. Verona Green. Good morning. And anybody else who I may have missed out. G-Force, I know as well. And we've had an interesting topic this morning. Hence the reason why I put the poll into the WhatsApp chat. It's been going on for a while now, which is the Birmingham binman strike. It's been ongoing, and I saw you reading reports of large rats, oversized rats being found in rubbish. That's going to be typical, isn't it? Where there's rubbish, there's going to be vermin. And if the council is not collecting the rubbish, it's going to be there. And so it might not be in all places. I'm sure some of these affluent places have got people coming in and collecting, or they've got some kind of neighbourhood scheme going on. They've got themselves together. But for some other places around Birmingham, that the rubbish is mounting up. It is a worry. It is a concern, and I'm wondering what is going on, because at the end of the day, all I'm seeing is that now they're talking about it in Parliament. This strike has actually been going on since the 11th of March.
Wow, that's a month going on.
Yeah, the all-out strike started on the 11th of March, and the reason why it started, and correct me if I'm wrong, any Birmingham City residents, they are removing the WRCO role, which is the Waste Recycling Collection Officer. And that means that the role is going to ensure that the salary is cut by £8,000. Not just £8,000, but they're going to lose a raft of other benefits as well. That's not being advertised. So it's a little bit more than that. And as we know, in this day and age, nobody can afford to take a pay cut. £1,000 pay cut's a lot. A £2,000 pay cut is a lot. But a mammoth £8,000 off of your salary is a hard bone to bear. And if you've got a family, it's almost impossible. It really is. So they're asking for a lot. And for me, I agree wholly and solely about the strike. It's not on that they have to lose their salary because of the faults of these Birmingham managers of the council. They got it wrong so badly. And it started off with the very fact that they were paying women wrongly. They were not paying women the same as men. And this was going on for years and continued. And so management were aware of this and continued it and didn't do anything about it. So obviously it's gone to court. The women have won. They've had their money paid out. Birmingham City Council is now bankrupt because of it. So why aren't they reducing the salaries of these people in their positions? Why not do that first of all? Get rid of half of these managers, incompetent managers, I would say.
Managers, yeah.
Senior managers, get rid of them, half their salaries down, and make it on bonus, but performance-related payments. In terms of if you're doing things right in the council, then you get paid more and you get paid up to your actual salary because you are performing, rather than getting your full salary. Why not do it that way instead of hurting the people below that don't need to be hurt? And it's hurting. Who is it hurting? The residents. And as far as I'm concerned, all the residents have paid their council tax, so they are entitled to get their bins.
Of course, definitely.
Rubbish taken away.
Yeah, I wonder how much the money has been reduced by. From what? Do you have any idea of what the bin collectors were getting and the amount that has been reduced?
No, I can find that out though. But what I do know, in stark contrast to the bin men, are the tube drivers. Now let's just take a look at that for a quick second. Anybody been watching in the news about the tube strikers? I'm coming back to the bin men. Haven't finished on that subject yet, and I haven't actually answered some of these messages in the chat. But tube drivers are being paid on average £64,000 a year, and they've just Sadiq Khan has just caved in to them potentially striking, because they were going to strike because they want a 4-day week, over a 34-hour week. That's it, getting paid £64,000 a year, and the council has, not the council, Sadiq Khan has given in to them, and they're allowed this 4-day week. Their hours are spread over 4 days. In the meantime, you've got the bin men surviving. I definitely don't think they're getting £64,000 a year for removing the rubbish. I mean, the tube drivers keep the city moving, but they only keep one part of the city moving, and that is London. They don't keep the UK moving. They are not as important as probably the railway drivers. They are not as important as nurses and doctors, and they're certainly not as important as the bin men. And I do not believe they should be working a 4-day week on £64,000 a year, whilst these bin men are being torn to shreds over striking for a £8,000 pay cut.
Damn,
there's my rant over.
Why couldn't I be getting that when I was working for them, that 4-day week and all that money? I was getting a decent amount, around about that, from the job that I was doing. But 4 days a week, I kind of disagree that it's not important, because they do get the hub of the UK, getting people into Canary Wharf and that. But I'd kind of understand. But like I said, there's a broad history behind why the tube drivers get that money. But never mind. Get yourself as much.
So there's a lot of chat in the WhatsApp chat group. If you haven't joined already, the links are in the Mixcloud chat in HPQs or Sharky DJs. You can join in on the conversation also going on WhatsApp. But there was a poll that I put out there that who thinks the bin men have a right to strike. We've got 7 so far saying yes, 1 saying no. Let's have a look. It'd be nice to know the one that said no, why they think no. But
that was actually Donald and Donald Brown, and he said, "I'm in agreement with the partial strike, for example, fortnightly, but not a total strike."
Okay, well, sometimes a strike is out there to get the message across, and fortnightly might not get the message across, and I think this message needs to come across succinctly, saying we're not putting up with this and we are not definitely taking a pay cut. Spice Nice says, I agree, it isn't their fault that Birmingham Council went bankrupt. The councils have to learn to budget their money properly. Sue says you can't expect to cut their pay so drastically without no comeback, whilst those at the top are sitting pretty, no loss to their salaries. Strike, yes, something has to give. Adelaide says also it's a sign of the times, can't be treating people like shite or you're going to smell your own. A lot of bin people have been on strike around the world. Great way to protest is to make the place infest. I hate the flying ants when the big dirty rubbish is on the ground in the summer. Jesus, but at least the rats, mice and foxes hide. D Small says, morning all, I agree with them striking, leave the rubbish, tink out the place, yes. 8,000 is a huge amount for these people. Very sad situation, but now everyone's talking. And yes, it has gone into Parliament. Keir Starmer's talking about it. The Health Secretary's talking about it. They're talking about bringing in the army. They're talking about getting residents to help out with the rubbish, but isn't that defeating paying your council tax? That you start taking your own rubbish? Shouldn't we get a discount on the council tax if we have to start removing the rubbish ourselves? I'm all on the side of the bin men. They should not have to take a pay cut, not such a drastic pay cut. Maybe they have to take a pay cut. I understand it can happen, but £8,000 is way too much.
Money, £8,000. That's a whole lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
You've got a large mortgage, and you're told that you're going to be taking an £8,000 pay cut. That's going to affect your family, or if you're living on the shoestring, just about that amount of money. That's a lot of money to lose.
It is, and I as I said, and I think most people are in agreement and on side of the bin men. It's sad that rubbish has to be piling up. It's sad that people have to see outside their house, start seeing vermin and things like that. But I'm hoping that people can play the long game. I'm hoping that the residents do get together and help each other out. For instance, there's lots of household recycling centres around Birmingham. There's one in Castle Bromwich, Tameside Drive, just in case people don't know. Kings Norton, you can Google this and look this up for yourself. In Lifford Lane, Perry Bar, Holford Drive, Sutton Coldfield, Norris Way and Tydesley, St James Road. And like I said, check your council websites for your applicable household recycling centres, and see if you can get ease the burden of the residents, and see if you can get rid of some of your rubbish. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the mountain rubbish is not just from us, right? The rubbish comes from food waste, food that we're not eating or have to throw away, or even the packaging. Packaging, I think, amounts to probably about 75% of my rubbish is the packaging all the food comes in, the cans, the bottles, the plastic bottles. Amazon got some new suitcases delivered. How many cardboard boxes did we have to take down to the recycling centre? How huge were they? How much rubbish is that accumulating? Yeah, and all of the packaging that comes in. So why are we not lobbying the companies to pay towards getting rid of rubbish? And maybe that will lessen the amount of packaging that they will put on our goods. So long as the goods are protected, especially if they're fragile goods, in getting to you, does sending 3 items warrant one big cardboard box and lots of paper in it for us to get rid of, to pay the burden for our councils to add on to the bills every year to collect rubbish? Surely these companies should also pay towards this, and we might not have the problems that we have at the moment. Let them start paying these household recycling waste officers.
There you go.
Well, I don't know what's going on with your mic. Back here, I can hear you quite clearly. I don't know if it's just Adelaide or it's Adelaide and Delight. Let us know if you can hear Sharky's mic clearly. For me, it's coming across quite clearly, quite loud. So I don't know.
I've got it up really loud. So.
Don't forget, everyone. Don't forget, Mixcloud has had problems all last week. Now, I don't know if you've been tuning into certain Mixclouds. Miscellaneous yesterday. Good morning, Miscellaneous. Was tuned onto your Mixcloud and the music was coming through a bit weird. Happy People Promotions was streaming on Friday. Their music didn't come through clearly. Lady B also yesterday. Simple Simon, and then I think I can't remember who it was. Got a notification to say that Mixcloud said it was having audio problems. So maybe that could be the case. If some of you guys are hearing Sharky clearly and some of you are not, this is a Mixcloud problem. They've been having problems all week with their audio.
And I have an indication of how loud I'm going out, and I'm actually going out quite loud. So we'll see. See if I can turn it up just a little bit more.
Right. Well, Delight says my mic is too loud. Adelaide says my mic is louder and I like it. Then says don't worry about it. So we're not going to win today, are we? We're not going to win with the audio. I'm going to turn my mic down just a little bit more.
No, you leave your mic there. I'm going to just make a...
Mary King says she can hear just fine. So maybe it's just Delight and Adelaide. I don't know. But yes, good morning, everybody. And yes, Miscellaneous, Lady B and I were tuning into your show yesterday as I was dropping her back. Lovely show. You always play wonderful music.
Yeah.
We were shazamming a little bit away. Now, Shaneri says sounds fine. HPQ sounds too loud. Spice Nice says Mixcloud has had problems from time. Theirs becoming rubbish. I must go up, one must go down, Shaneri says. I'm not quite sure what that means, but thank you anyway. But yes, we've been on about the bin strikers this morning. And I know that Spice Nice made a comment saying the tube drivers are being paid correctly and everybody else needs to catch up.
Yeah.
If that was the case, that would be great. But the tube drivers are not getting paid as they are. They demand those pays. They go on strike every time there is an action of anything happening, or if they want to demand more money. So they demand their pay. They're not just getting paid for the sake of it. They demand it. And that's what other people need to do. Demand their pay and be just as strong as that tube drivers union. I can't wait for driverless trains.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the technology. We're being held to ransom completely.
But we have driverless trains already. Trains are driverless, but you still need the operators. You still need people to operate them. You still need the skill. You got to remember, when these trains go down, drivers have to get it going. So if it breaks down in the tunnel, somebody has to be on that train to get it going. It's the drivers that we train up to, or I say when you used to train up to actually get the trains to fix it and get it to the next station, or you'll be stuck in there forever.
It's a hard one. I mean, I don't want to go on about
the central line many years ago, where trains were broken down in the tunnel. It was a devastation. I mean, you do need drivers to move it from one to the next. But it's another story.
Yeah, I mean, trains break down with a driver in it or not. So
yes, but if there's no driver, then people are stuck in the tunnel. You'd have to wait for rescue, them to shut down the electric, shut down the traction current, everybody walk in, someone to fix the train and then bring it in. Drivers do a little bit more than just driving trains.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think it's just a case of that. It's like bus drivers, they just don't drive the bus. They have to ensure the welfare and the safety of the people that they've got on board and know what to do in an emergency as such. But, they've got it happen. What do they do in China? What do they do in these other countries that have got all this technology going on? Do they need drivers? And are we just saying we need drivers and making this excuse that we need them? Are we not looking at other countries' models and how they act? And maybe I might do that at the top of the hour. Can I have a look at the infrastructure or the way that maybe China, other countries, if they have driverless trains, how they deal with it? Let's have a look at that. And then maybe we can make a little bit more of a comparison. But anyway, we're going to come off the subject there about the Birmingham bin men. I think that we're in a general consensus that they are right to strike, as Donald B's converted from Conservative to Labour here. So well done everybody that took part in that. We also said that we'll be running a competition for Carry On Comedy, right, to win an event pass. I'm just putting those details together, and we'll do that at the top of the hour about what the question is and see who gets that correct to try and win one of these 2 event passes. That's correct, right?
Well, they get both of them.
So it's 2. Oh,
they get 2 passes together.
Okay, must make sure it's quite difficult then.
Something that cannot be Shazam, cannot be Googled. It's a bit difficult, isn't it?
It is, because most things can be Googled, I can tell you that. But anyway, I want to come on to, it's a nice subject to come into because films, as you know, I do a little bit of a film review. I'm a bit of a film buff and like watching movies and see what's going on and see what recommendations I can bring. Now, I am a Black Mirror fan. I don't know who else loves Black Mirror and has watched all the seasons, but season 7 is back of Black Mirror. Now, if you like the kind of dark, could I say comedies, or nearly on par of a horror, or where technology goes wrong, Black Mirror is for you. Great shows to show how far technology can go and whether it's a good or a bad thing. And I've reviewed some of the ones beforehand. I don't want to put too many spoilers in. I'm sure the trailers are going to tell you anyway, but I watched one in particular about a man and his woman has a fatal illness in her brain, and they're able to almost like take a mirror image of her brain, save that, take out the infected part, and then kind of re-put in a new brain. And then she obviously comes back to life as his wife. And there's obviously repercussions with that, having a new brain and what happens. And it's and I'm sorry to spoil it a bit, but it's pushing on par to what we do and what we buy with things like apps. So she now has to pay a monthly subscription to have this functional brain. And with that comes tiers of layers of subscriptions. And as the story goes in, it tells you what can be done and what cannot be done within those layers and how it nearly breaks them and the whole entire family. Very good show, very good look at even what's happening in our life now. You know, you've got layers, like you've got Spotify, you've got a premium layer, and you're allowed to do this, and next minute they're going to put a Spotify premium diamond sapphire level, which means that you're going to have to subscribe just to get more. And it's just showing how that could be encroached in our daily life. That could actually start happening. So it's a good show. Some of them a bit up and down, but that one in particular I actually love. So, you know, try and grab a watch of Black Mirror if you're into that type of thing, and watch the show. Hopefully you enjoy.
You know what I've been watching? I actually went back and started watching Final Destination again from the beginning, from the very first one. And I must say, I mean, you know, watching that again, it's kind of frightening how death chases you when you get away when you're supposed to go and you don't, and death chases you. So I'm like on the second one now, a bit frightening, very much indeed.
Well, it's a good thing that you've been watching it, because Final Destination, it might be 7 or 8, is being released next month. And so I'm looking forward to that one. Another Jurassic Park is being released, and Final Destination. 2 movies I actually want to go to the cinema and see. So looking forward to those ones.
Okay. HPQ. You're muted.
You know what? I had you on Mixcloud, and obviously there's a delay between StreamYard and Mixcloud, and I'm muted, so I'm thinking the music's still going.
I hate when that happens.
I wasn't taking much notice there. Now, yesterday we were having a very interesting conversation, and it's inspired me to put another poll into WhatsApp today as well, and we'll talk about this for the next couple of minutes. Now, you were talking about funerals. You stream at funerals, and you were speaking about some people that you're going to be streaming for quite soon.
Yeah.
And the cost of funerals. Now, I've spoken about funeral costs before. Now, everybody, I want to say first of all, everybody's got their idea of how they want their funeral, just like weddings, right? You want all out expense, you want the doves, the horses, the footmen, everything. And kudos to those people that want to do that. And I'm not taking that away from anybody, absolutely anybody. However, how I feel about it, I feel like I want my kids and my grandchildren to benefit in this world. It's an expensive world, and I don't know how much they're going to be able to have in terms of wealth as they get older. The country's ensuring that you've got no wealth to pass on to your children, or they're going to tax the hell out of it. So the only thing you can do is to make sure you've got things in place to protect them. Now, if you've got that anyway, and this is a little side piece that you've got spare, well, you've lived a great life, and thank the Lord. But when I think about the costs that people spend, it's excessive, and these companies and these funeral parlors are raking in cash from people who want these types of burials. Now, for example, if you have got a burial plot, and you'd think that having a burial plot that you can have your family in could probably be a lot more cheaper, and it's not. It works out to be so much more expensive. And I don't know if you want to explain this, Sharky, that they've got a burial plot and they want to open it up to put their family member in. I won't mention who it is. But the cost of it was I was speaking to somebody whose funeral I was going to be streaming, and the cost to open up the ground, say for instance, if you have a burial plot, I do believe this, a burial plot for three bodies is 4,800 just to open up the plot. It's a lot of money, and
that's the fact just to open it.
And every time you need to open it, that's what you pay, and those costs will go up each and every time. And I don't know what they even cost to have the burial plot in the first place. That costs a fair few thousand.
15, I think it's 15 or 16,000 or something like that.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money just to for your soul to go to heaven. And as I was saying yesterday, as I said, it's people's right to go as they please. It really is, and I'm not here to take that away from anybody. But my purpose, I think, is to look after my family as best as I can, and that isn't to spend my money on somebody else. That's not my family. And for me, as I've said it quite clearly, my body's going to medical science. If indeed, when I pass, you can ring up the company or the hospital quickly and say, come and collect freshly, gone Alison. So that's what I want with my body. So there's going to be no burial or cremation costs unless you want to take a hand or a finger or some of the little bit of hair I got, on my head, whatever the case may be. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound so morbid, but it's a fact and reality of things that we just need to think about. And I've thought about these things. And I want as minimal cost as possible. And looking that up, I was checking out the costs of funerals and whether you need to be in a coffin, because I thought, well, if I'm going to be cremated, or if someone was going to be cremated, why do I have to buy one of these expensive caskets to put myself in only for it to be gone to ashes? So I looked up the details, and it's not actually a legal requirement to be buried in a coffin. But what it is, it's an offence to expose a dead body near a public highway, as this would outrage public decency. So if you wanted to put me, let's use me as an example, I don't want to use anybody else, on a board and put some cheesecloth over me, you could do that and put me in the ground. There is no requirement to have me in a coffin. A cardboard box would also suffice. But I think that might cause outrage amongst families saying, is that how they're going to bury in a cardboard box? They can't afford nothing. You know what I mean? It's a public outcry from your family that stops you from doing this stuff, not that you want to.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's really. I mean, you know, the fiascos around funerals of things that happen with families. You know, you get the families that said, you know, don't bury me like that. Then you get the families that fight. Then you get the families that, I mean, I saw a video the other day of, it was posted by somebody of family who didn't pay the bill, and I'm sure it's got to be like...
It's got to be fake.
Where they just took the body out and threw the body because the family didn't pay the bill. I mean, that's just ridiculous, really. I mean, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I know. I hope that was a parody.
Yeah.
I hope it was, because I think that somebody would have to be joining that body. They're gonna die. You can't just fling a person's body out on the road. That's just too much disrespect. At least take it back to the funeral parlour and drive it back there and
leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah, and say it can't be released until you pay. You know,
I mean,
but
that was mayhem. I mean, that's, you know, somebody would get murdered for that.
You don't fling it out in the middle of the road. I'm not laughing, but you don't do that. You just don't do that. I'm hoping it's a joke. It is a joke. It's got to be.
It has to be a joke. I mean, I have actually seen a funeral of like sisters, you know, actually fighting in the funeral, you know, taking over. I've seen that, which was kind of sad, really. But you know, I mean, you know, I think, you know, when you're celebrating somebody's life, it should be, you know, let them go in peace. You know, stop fighting over what they had. If they wanted to leave it to you, they'd have left it to you. Simple as that.
Yeah. And Spice Nice, let's have a look. Gosh. Delight says, dying is expensive and lucrative. My sister went in with my dad, who's in a tomb, and it cost 5k to open. Yes,
there you
Delight.
go.
To buy the double plot was 6,500 to buy. This is why it's important to have funeral cover or money to pay for your funeral. D Small says, body gets buried, soul gone long before. Hold on 1 second, my chat's just moved. Soul gone long before. Please all make a will. And Spice Nice agrees with D Small and says, agree, the soul has gone to its resting place. I said that yesterday. My soul is gone. What you do with my body is just an orifice. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't want to come back. I'm done. HPQ has been here. I touch the earth. I hope that I touch people with my grace, right, and my spirit, and my and anything else. But I don't want to come back. I'm not coming back. I don't want any kind of operation to come back. I don't want any kind of technology to bring me back. I'm done. When I'm done, I'm done. So let my body just burn. Medical science. Let someone else benefit from HPQ. You know, they might even delve into my mind and find things that, you know, they never knew before. You know, things like that could happen. It's a possibility.
Yes.
So we have been talking. Oh, there you go. Got my sound on there.
Yeah,
talking about all sorts of things this morning. The Birmingham bin strike, funerals, Netflix, Black Mirror. What's next? Well, what's the world coming to when certain companies are kind of like removed from our vision? They are to be no more. We've seen the demise of Woolworths. That struck a lot in people's hearts. When Woolworths went, CNA's went. That was just like even worse as well. What else went? Grants went in Croydon. WH Smith is going. Tupperware was having problems as well. Now who's the next? Yeah, they were having problems with sales going down and the market being flooded with other silicone items that people can use, such as Temu and Shein, or using glassware. Now, the next company that's on the edge of going, a beloved staple in our lives, what a lot of women or men even couldn't do without, the infamous Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers is preparing to file for bankruptcy as it struggles with rise of popular weight loss quick fixes like the Ozempic drug. So they said last week that it plans to file for bankruptcy in the coming months. A number of options are actually being considered, but they've been struggling under a weight of ironic, isn't it, under a weight of a 1.6 billion debt. And their plans to put a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing through in the US. Now, they're saying, like I mentioned earlier on, like weight loss drugs like Ozempic and I think another one called Wegovy have just literally torn apart their business model. People can simply now get injections to lose weight instead of losing weight the proper way through, looking at what you eat and having that psychological balance with food and your mind. Well, you don't need to do that no more. You just take some injections, and in the next couple of weeks you lose a couple of stone, and you're looking like, what's her name, Sharon Osbourne. Look like Sharon. Yeah, look like Sharon Osbourne. Look like she's ready to just drop any second now. Or Katie Price. 2 melons on a stick.
But the question is, what is the side effect on something like that? What's the side effect on, taking these drugs, these weight loss drugs? I mean, there must be a side effect, right?
I believe there is. I should really look into it as Ozempic side effects. But I mean, obviously, it's the amount of weight loss, and what does it do to your bones? You're not getting the essential vitamins and minerals because you're dropping weight ridiculously. So your food is not being held in your body, or it's been dissipated at such a rate. I don't know. Maybe it's diarrhea, constant diarrhea. Because where does the food go? So maybe it's that, because most people that are on some weight loss journey, even if you eat greens, that's what happens. So how do you get rid of the food?
How does it come out? I mean, I'd like to. Do you have any idea of how it actually works?
I don't, and I'll find out. Actually, we're coming up to a break in a second. It's 8:57, and HPQ will go on and see about Ozempic, how it's administered, what actually happens, and how fast are the results, and what happens at the end. Do you stay this skinny? Who knows?
What are the side effects of taking? Do you know anybody that takes this injection? Does anyone know anyone? Don't have to reveal it, but does it actually work? And is there any side effects or anything like that?
Yeah, and sorry about my Katie Price comment, 2 melons on a stick. I shouldn't say that, because you know what? My guilty pleasure is Katie Price. I actually follow Katie Price. I do. I really do feel it for her. I think she's got some severe mental health issues. She's got body dysmorphia, for sure. And I followed her since the love affair with her, and before her and Pete got together when she was Jordan. And I don't know why I've got a liking for her. I have. She's completely honest, but she's gone too far. She's definitively gone too far with her looks, her whatever. When she was with Pete, just after she left Pete, she was at her best. She looked her best, but she's just gone too far now. A little bit of a druggie as well, which is sad. Very, very sad. But I'll be back with some details about Ozempic after the break.
Hey, Mr. Boom.
Gosh, I remember that tune. But coming back to the Ozempic drug that we were talking about earlier, yes, Delight, you are absolutely correct. It is a drug primarily used to control type 2 diabetes. In terms of the hormone. It's there to improve the blood sugar control, basically, with people with type 2 diabetes. But they found correctly that it can also aid to weight loss by mimicking the effects of a naturally occurring hormone. Yeah. Now, what will happen is that people start to have a feeling of feeling full after obviously taking the injections, leading to less intake of food. Now, you spoke about the side effects. The side effects, constipation, diarrhea, pancreatitis, increased heart rate. They say thyroid cancer. They say itching, swelling, all sorts of things.
I kind of had a thought that diarrhea would have been one of the side effects. It had to be.
Yeah, and constipation or diarrhea is a side effect of taking too much medication. Period, regardless of what it is. Anyway, so yes, I don't know if these stars should be endorsing it. All of a sudden now, Oprah Winfrey's gone skinny again. She infamously juggles with her weight. But I think people who generally have a weight issue and it's psychologically affecting them, or they've got thyroid problems, and this sometimes isn't due to them just eating mounds of fried chicken. It could be a thyroid problem that some women have, and if it helps their self-confidence and boosts their whole well-being, then yes, I'm all for that. But if you're already quite slim and you just want to be some kind of waif-looking woman just for the sake of it for TV, I don't know if I could endorse that. And there's always something that we use drugs for. I mean, heroin and cocaine wasn't first found and produced because it was kind of like a drug that influenced how high we could become. There were effects for medication, but on the side they found that it could do other things.
Yeah.
And that's medication for you. We just have to be careful, knowledge ourselves up with facts. You know, if you're going to take this drug, no problem, but just figure out how best it is for you. Make sure that it's prescribed by a doctor, that you're not going on the dark web or you're clicking on Amazon or any of these fluky Chinese Facebook websites that offer you weight loss in 4 weeks. Always go to a prescribed clinician or a doctor to get anything to do with weight loss, please. I want you all to stay healthy and join us every Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 10.
Well said, HPQ. Well said indeed. What we got now?
Oh gosh, what have we got now in the news? I was sitting here busy just checking out all my articles. I've got so many. Anyway, one of the things I want to talk about is anybody who's travelling recently. We spoke the other week about them ditching this 100 ml liquid in a bag, in particular in certain airports around the UK. I think it's City, Bristol, can't remember what other one, Manchester, and Gatwick Airport, that's it, whereby you don't have to put them in a plastic bag anymore. They can just go in your hand luggage as normal, which is fine, and we don't have to separate them out, but just make sure they still are 100 mils. The 100 mil limit has not been scrapped. It's just a case of we don't have to show them outside of your bag anymore. Now, the other thing that they're shaking up in the aviation industry is boarding passes. Boarding passes and check-in to be ditched, which is the biggest shake-up in global aviation in 50 years. Come on, Willow. I haven't seen Willow in ages. So they're saying that airline passengers, this is not coming in just yet, don't get too excited, will no longer need to scan their boarding passes or check in before flying in the biggest shake-up that they had. They want to do away with the traditional process of presenting a boarding pass to security and producing your passport at the check-in counter. Now, rather than carrying a physical documentation as proof, passengers will now have a digital travel credential, which will be stored on your mobile phone, hence the reason why you need your mobile phones. And within this digital bundle will be all the documentation needed to board the plane, including passports and flight details.
Wow.
Yeah. And as part of their package, they would have to download a journey pass onto their phones, which will automatically update them if their flight is delayed or cancelled. Now, depending upon the amount of luggage brought to the airport, passengers will need to go to security at bag drop-off, a bit like EasyJet bag drop-off. And let's have a look. Airlines will be told of a passenger's intention to fly after their face is scanned by security after arrival at the airport. So your faces are going to be scanned. It happens in most shops anyway. I was showing you at Asda the other day. Yeah. Walking in Asda, they scanned everybody's faces coming in. And then at the tills, there's another scan that scans your faces. You're getting scanned.
Scan when you leave.
Yep. So
do you think that's an infringement of this scanning all the time?
I think it is an infringement, but I think the fact that we've got so much technology in this world and we've got so much threat of terrorism and all sorts of illegal activities, it's the best way for any government or any country to track people. You put everything digitally, you can track anybody. And that's how because, you know, you think, how do they catch a person? How do they know their movements? Well, they track them on all the CCT cameras. They kind of think about or devise where their walking plan or their driving plan may be and map all those places where their CCT cameras or digital devices and piece together people's movements and find them. And it's just an extension of that. You know, we've got it in shops now. The main shops, the main supermarkets, they've all got them, and now it's going to be at the airport. So the movements of people is just going to be there on camera. No one is going to be safe.
You know what? I'm with Dee. She said, you know, what happens if you lose your phone or it gets stolen or if the battery runs out and you are about to get your flight? I mean, you know, what's the backup plan? What's the contingency?
Well, the contingency will be that you're going to go all the way back to a customer service desk for them to probably give you a physical ticket printout. It's a bit like at railway stations. Most people can use their phones or their Oyster cards to go in, but when they don't have that, they go to the desk and get a physical ticket to get printed out. And I'm going to assume it's going to be the same. And remember, there are, I think it's Ryanair that asks for you to just use your boarding passes on your phone. And if you want to digitally print out your boarding pass, they charge you. So, yeah, so it is all moving digitally. And I'm with you in that if you do, even in this day and age right now, forget that you're getting on a plane. You've left your house and you've got a mobile phone in your hands to pay for your goods, which is what I do most of the time now. Now, and if I've got my bag with me, I've got cards with me. If I don't and I walk out with my mobile phone, that's all I've got. And if I lose power and I'm on the roads, I say, for example, I'm not driving, I then can't get home. I can't order myself a taxi. I can't pay for any food. I can't call anyone. I can't get no cash out. I'm physically stuffed. So you have to think about backup plans. I know it's easier saying, what if your phone dies? You're going to have to make sure you carry battery packs. I mean, there's places to charge everything everywhere now. You know, on buses, on trains. However, what if your phone dies or it drops in water, it drops down the toilet, someone steals it? There's no mitigation for that, is there? And I think that's something you need to think about. You need to walk with a card. You need to maybe walk with a spare phone. You need to walk with a diary or a number that you can recall. And it's not like there's a phone box around that you can use. You're stuffed. You are pretty much stuffed. And if you drop down in the middle of nowhere, I dread to think, or even if you've got no phone signal, you go on a Avanti West Coast from Wolverhampton to London, and trust me, there's hardly any signal on that train. You can't ring no one. You're stuffed.
Yeah. So therefore, you're kind of stuffed. But the digital world, everybody's got to think about the things that they need to do, the backup plans, make sure your phone's charged the night before and things like that.
Some good comments in the chat. We'll come back after this for some of them. I was taking a sip of tea there. My mouth was full. It's not often I'm silent. Something has to be in my mouth to keep me silent. And I've put another poll in WhatsApp, by the way, for anybody that likes to poll on conversations. We've just been talking about technology and having everything on your mobile phone. Now, I use my mobile phone for most things. If there's an app, I'm going to download it. I'm going to load everything up and use the app, and I'll be on my merry way. All my cards are actually stored on my mobile phone. And yeah, I haven't been a victim of any scam with my cards on my phone and using any of them. I know I saw a chat back there from, I think it was D Small, that says she doesn't use her cards on her phones because it's a little bit too risky. Did like the cards on the phone but felt exposed, she said, until they got us all up on the Matrix. Let's have a look. Verona says, I don't agree with it all on the phone. Well, what do you reckon? Do you use your cards on your phone, Sharky? Are you a technophobe or are you a technology receiver?
I am a techno man. When these things come out, I go straight into them straight away. And most of the time when people do get caught out with scams, and that is not by them actually finding out what your password is, by you actually giving it away for some reason, by not following the security rules, or normally they have a way of getting it out of you, but it's quite safe. I mean, I've been using it from day dot, the cards, I've got everything on my phone. I'm I do online banking. I have been scammed, but that was down to my fault, and that was all down to me. It wasn't to do with the security, but it's to do with me. So yeah.
And the problem is, and I know some people are saying, they don't want to do everything on their phone. I know somebody that says they have no apps on their phone, just none, no banking apps, no nothing. I don't understand how you cope sometimes. If you've got to move money from one place to another, you've got to step into a bank. That's just wrong these days.
I've got all my banks on my phone, everything. And put it this way, if it does go wrong and they do get into your account, right, there are security, there are, ways of getting your money back, as HPQ will tell you.
Yeah, the thing about it is, if someone has physically gone into your account, or you see money's been taken from your account, it happened to me when I was banking with Metro Bank. I saw these Metro Bank and Lloyd's. It happened to me with Metro. I just keep seeing these amounts came out in 1 month, and Lloyd's was just like this debit amount that was coming out every month. I didn't recognise the person or anything. You contact your bank, they give you your money back. So long as you haven't given any details out, you haven't given your account number out to this particular person or okayed something, you're okay. The bank will refund you straight away. They'll put the money back in your account straight away, then start the investigation. However, when it's down to a scam and you're paying out the money consistently, that's when it takes a lot longer. That's when you don't get your money back instantaneously, and that's when you've got a fight on your hands with your bank. Your money's also protected in Google Wallet also. I have never heard of anybody getting scammed through their cards in Google Wallet as yet. I say as yet. It hasn't happened. Mary King says, the last time my phone was hacked when I used it with an unsecured hotel Wi-Fi, they hacked my emails via accessing my Amazon. Yeah, but that's something that that's gonna happen to us at some point. Our details are sent left, right and centre. I keep getting calls about life insurance. I don't have it, but my phone number was sold somewhere along the line, and I keep getting calls from these particular companies. All you can do is keep safeguarding yourself. Check your accounts frequently. Okay, make sure your phone is secure. Make sure you've got, and most of the companies do this now, there is 2 layers of authentication to get into most apps that you have to go through. You go into an app, put in your password, we're going to send you a code. They're going to send it to your mobile phone. It goes to your mobile phone. You put in the verified code. We're then going to send you an email. You then go into the email, and then you can click in. So there's layers of authentication that is stopping these people getting in. And if you don't have authentication on some of your accounts, all these 2 layers on, yes, they're going to get in. Nobody's hacked into my Amazon or my banking apps or anything like that, and I've got everything on my phone. Just make sure you stay safe, people. Protect your phone, protect your apps, protect your money. It's important.
There you go. Do you use your phone for all digital transactions? So if you are in the WhatsApp group, definitely get yourself in there and do some voting and let us know if you use your phone for all your digital transaction. Yes, I love technology. No, it's way too risky. Playing it safe at some things.
Yes, and we've seen the polls coming through there, people who use their mobile phones or not. The problem is that it is a fact of life now, having a mobile phone and having everything available on your mobile phone also. It's where companies are pushing. I remember before when you used to have all your loyalty cards. You had a card for each shop you went, and your purse was about this fat. Just put it all on the card now, innit? And I remember, I used to be like, they need to make this digital. Why can't they have this loaded on your mobile phone? It needs to be somewhere. Then apps came out like loyalty cards. I used to have them all on there. Then obviously Google Wallet. You can store them all on there. Your gift cards, everything. And now, when you go and, like, quite recently I opened up a First Direct account. It's like, would you like to store your virtual card to the wallet? It does it automatically for you. You don't have to sit there trying to scan your card into this square box to pick up all the numbers. It's fantastic. And then it's all my cards are stored safely within my Google. So let's see what happens. If I ever get hacked, they're going to access a fair few accounts and get a fair few details and pay for a fair few things. Let's see what happens. But on your phones also, you are able to stop and freeze your cards. You're able to see your pins. These are the good things about it. Before, you used to have to phone up your bank. I've lost my pin. Then send you a little pin reminder or whatever, or a letter with your pin, and you have that see-through thing that you do. Now it's all on the app. View it. Change it, all of that good stuff. Freeze your card, temporary freeze your card. If you've got a partner, they're spending cash, freeze the damn card. Freeze it, and then they can't spend on it. So there's some good things on there, and I encourage you all to embrace it, because that's where it's going. It's not going away. They're not going to make less apps to go on your phone. It's going to be there. So embrace technology, people. If you need any help, come and check out SharkyDJ or HPQ. We can advise you on what to do.
Definitely give you all the advice that's needed.
And JR says, yes, I'm using my phone for most transactions. I don't know what DJ Rudy put in there. I'm losing a loop back. Is that to do with music? I'll leave that one there. So now WhatsApp are also changing up their technology, and a couple of weeks ago they've introduced Meta AI. Most of you will see that little indicator on your phones now. If you've got an iPhone, you can't make it go away. If you've got an Android phone, you can download the oldest operating system, I think it is, or the last WhatsApp version, and you can take that off there. But Meta AI is here to stay. But WhatsApp has also announced some new updates across chats, calls, and channels to enhance the messaging and calling experience as it continues to compete with Telegram and another app called Discord. Never heard of Discord. Might have to download that and see.
Yeah, I've got that.
Okay, so one of the most notable additions, I think what we've seen is an online indicator that appears at the top of a group chat to show you how many people are currently around to chat. Another new feature will allow you to highlight certain notifications, and you can use a newly added Notify For setting and select highlights to limit notifications for mentions, replies, messages from saved contacts. Another feature offers the options to scan and send documents on an iPhone. And to access this, users can scan the document from the attachment options and then follow the steps to scan, crop, and save the documents.
We can do that in Notes.
Okay. iPhone users can also set WhatsApp as their default messaging and calling app. Plus, iPhone users can now pinch in to zoom in during video calls. So if you want to see a little bit more in video calls, you can pinch the screen and zoom in. You obviously know about that one already.
No, actually, I don't.
As for video calls, WhatsApp says it's upgraded its technology to make video calls more reliable and of higher quality. I thought most of them were all right. I didn't get any issues with quality of.
Quite good.
Okay, so they've got improved bandwidth detection, and let's have a look. They also have allowed, though they've allowed this for some time, they say, to create events in group chats for some time. And it's now rolling out the ability to create an event in one-to-one conversations. And the events feature is getting updated with the ability to RSVP as maybe, invite a +1, add an end date and a time, and also pin events so they are easier to find.
Now, what I want, WhatsApp. Have you finished with WhatsApp yet?
No.
Go for it. You might tell me what I want to hear. Go on.
In addition, you can add someone to an ongoing one-to-one call from a chat thread by tapping the call icon at the top of your screen, then selecting add into call. I think that was always there.
We've got something like that already, yeah.
Channels are also getting 3 new updates. This is if you use channels. Admins can now record and share short videos with followers, which is going to be a bit like TikTok. So we can have our own channel, Breakfast Flight Show channel, and then we can add the videos with our followers and share unique QR codes that link directly to their channel. And you can get now a written summary of voice message updates from the channels to get yourself up to speed when you're on the go and unable to read individual messages. That's it. It's a lot.
The one thing that I want WhatsApp to do is to be able to have a WhatsApp group chat and hide the names and numbers, or at least hide the numbers. That's what I'd like WhatsApp to do. You know, just like Telegram, you know, you can have a group of people and then you can hide all the numbers so they don't get the contacts. Only admins can see the numbers. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
That would be a great feature. If they've done that now, I think, you've done it, WhatsApp. Maybe you can write into them and suggest that.
You know that would be a premium feature. Because although Telegram is very good, Telegram has premium features. Like you can only send... you can only have so many groups, I think it is, or so many messages that you can send in any given month before you have to upgrade to Plus. Remember the premium subscriptions we were talking about in Netflix? So everything's a premium. You want something better, it's a premium. Gone are the days when it's free. Should have taken advantage when these apps first came out and got all the paid free versions and subscribed to that.
Susie Cruz says WhatsApp can hide numbers and only admins can see on Android. Is that right, HPQ?
Oh, let's check. I will check. We'll do a check on that and come back.
Yeah, we'll have a check on that one. As Susie says, yes, cash is king, but they want to get rid of cash. What are you guys going to do when they get rid of cash? Then they will know every single penny that you earn or you get from somebody. Taxman will have a field day.
Now that's why Taxman has got this digital transformation that's just gone through. So everything is now recorded with HMRC. going to bring you some news on side hustle thresholds, which are changing in the next couple of years. I'll bring that to you guys tomorrow. But I've just been looking in WhatsApp about all these changes. The one thing I forgot about is this filter bar along the top, which is a change where you can see, sometimes I'm always searching through WhatsApp to find a particular person I want to carry on a chat with, because messages, I'm in far too many groups. But along the top now, you've got a whole filter list whereby you've got, like, you can look at all your messages, it would show you all your unread messages, your favourites. So if you've got favourites, you can pin your favourites now to your groups. I've just pinned the Breakfast Flight Show up there, so I can manage them easier. I know, I'm just coming into this, yeah. So you can get all your favourites right at the top at a very glance and add them in there. So no longer do I have to scrape through the millions of my WhatsApp messages. I'm going to start doing that today. Putting all my favourite messages up there so I can see them at a glance. So, but yes, it's 9:46. We're coming up to 10 o'clock, finishing at 10 a.m. Thank you so much for joining the Breakfast Flight Show on HPQ's Mixcloud and on Sharky DJs. Thank you guys for joining in on the polls. We'll be back tomorrow with a few more polls, and also the competition question we'll be posting in the WhatsApp chat today. So make sure you join the group, and we'll be sorting that out, trying to get a competition winner tomorrow.
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, HPQ.